Hey everybody, it is Karina with Karina Loves to Plan, and today, guess what I'm going to be talking about? I'm going to be talking about my whole fountain pen collection. Yes, I don't know how long this video is going to be, but stay tuned, grab a drink, grab a coffee, do whatever you can, get comfy, and watch as I go through this whole collection. But first, before I go into that, I'll just let you know how I organize these drawers and the trays that are in here. I will leave a link to the video for my fountain pen storage, and then you can take a look at what's there. All right, let's get started. Okay, so just telling you now that I have organized my pens in their pen trays alphabetically by brand, because that's how I have it listed in my spreadsheet right now. And if you are a Google Sheet or a spreadsheet nerd like I am, you know that you can set up filters to be able to organize by brand or the date that you bought it. So right now my spreadsheet is organized by brand, which helped me organize all of my trays. But anyway, that is a whole other glimpse into how my brain works. I'm very analog in some ways, but also very much spreadsheet and tech minded in others. All right, this first pen tray has first pen that I'm going to feature here. This is the Asfine C80. Now, this is a recent acquisition as well, but I purchased this so that I could try the number 8 nib on here. And this is an extra fine steel number 8 nib. And this is the Asfine C80 in the brown glitter that I purchased off of Amazon. And I love this. Now, they do have other colors available in this as well. So I think they have like a blue glitter, green glitter, purple glitter. Oh boy, this is going to be a difficult video if I keep doing that. But I actually think for the price of this pen, I purchased this on Amazon US and it was $28.90 US. And it is actually, for that price, a really great pen. You get a number 8 size steel nib. There is a big converter in here as well. And for how long I've been writing with this pen, it is really fantastic. So that is the only Asfine I have in my collection, the Asfine C80. The next pen in this tray is my Aurora 88 in the Viaggio Segreto Mantova. And this is one of those, I think, limited edition ones. And so normally it would be called the Aurora 888 if it's in a limited edition. But I purchased this from Applebaum for Fountain Pen Day, and this is a piston fill. And when I first got this, the nib was just not right. It was a little scratchy. It wasn't even feedback, it was just a little scratchy. So I've worked with this nib a little bit to get it tuned to my liking, and there's still a little bit of a snag to it when I write in a certain angle. So I may get Kirk Spear to take a look at it the next time at a pen show, but most of the scratchiness is gone from my little bit of tuning and smoothing. But otherwise, it's such a beautiful, beautiful pen. I'm really happy with how just having an Aurora in my collection. I don't know if I will add any more to my collection, because this was, I think, I'm just actually looking at my spreadsheet now, this is probably the most expensive pen that I have in my collection. And I don't take that lightly. I don't think I'll purchase another one because of the experience that I had with the nib, but also I don't need more than one of these, no matter how pretty they are. So that is the Aurora Mantova. Next, we have a Benu, and this is the Benu Haute. So this was a new collection that came out this year, and this is in the luster, and this has a steel nib in the fine. And what I like about this is that now Benu are coming out with a gold painted hardware, so the gold clip to match the gold nib, to match their bodies a lot more, because before you'd have your Benus that probably had like the gold glitter in them, but then the clip as well as the nib and some of the detailings as well were still silver. Even it kind of threw off the design a little bit, but now they've added the gold clip and the gold painted nib, and it just works. And I really like the colors in this particular Benu. They're not as in your face, punch you in the face with all of that glitter, but it still has a little bit of Benu's signature shimmer in here. And this model is actually really, really comfortable for me. So maybe I found the Benu model that actually works for me, because I've tried a few. I've tried the Euphoria, I've tried the Talisman, and while they're both beautiful, there is something about them that didn't have me reaching for them, whereas this, I really love this. And the fine nib on this one actually writes really, really beautifully. So that is my Benu in the Haute Luster. The next brand I have here is Esterbrook, and this actually has downsized quite a bit from earlier this year. I at one point wanted to collect all of the Esterbrook Estes because they are, for me, the most comfortable pen, but I realized earlier this year that I really don't need every single Estes known to man, even though for some people that is the GOAT of collections. But for me, I'm happy with what I have here, along with my Model Js. I had 3 Model Js earlier this year, but then I downsized back to the 2 that I really love. So this Model J is the Violet, and this currently has actually a fine cursive smooth italic nib on here. And then we have the Antique Rose, which has, I believe, just a fine nib on here. No, that's an extra fine nib. I think I've actually moved some of the nibs around in here. So that one is an extra fine nib. And then I've got 4 Estes. The first here is the Tortoise. And this one I purchased from Blesket Canada. And this one has a fine nib. Writes beautifully, lovely. And I love how the tortoise pattern on here is a little bit more like brown, orange, red. Beautiful. Now Esterbrook have just come out with an amber tortoise. I don't need it. I don't need it. Don't need it. Then I have the Honeycomb, and I didn't ever think that I'd like this color, but I like this color in ink as well as this pen. But also this particular one, the Honeycomb, comes with a needlepoint nib, and I purchased this from Atlas Stationers in 2023 actually. So I've had this pen for a couple of years, and I love the way that it writes. Needlepoint nib by Kirkspear is fantastic, but also I just love the overall finish of that Honeycomb. It's just stunning. And then we have the Once in a Blue Moon. This was from the first release. I'm not sure when that came out, but I purchased the secondhand from Ginger Peachy Pens. And what I love is how many people tagged me in that post when she was selling it, because they knew I wanted this, but also I had already messaged her by that time because I was on the lookout for this. So this had a medium nib, and then I had this ground to a reverse architect. So the regular side writes with an extra fine, and then the reverse is a medium architect. It's such a fantastic nib, but I really love the Once in a Blue Moon because you've got blue, but there's also hints of purple, and just the chatoyance in that is stunning. And then last of my Estes is the Lilac. Oh, I can't get over this one. This one's so lovely. This one comes with an extra fine nib. I don't think I had that ground into anything, but I love my Estes for how comfortable they are. These are my most comfortable pens, and then they come with the Yovo No. 6 steel nibs. And they have so many different designs that come out nowadays, and I've had to tell myself on many occasions that I don't need every single color that comes out. I'm pretty happy with my Esterbrook collection as it stands, and I don't feel like I need to add to it. So that is the first tray with Asfine, Aurora, Benu, and my Esterbrook's. The next tray, and we're going alphabetically here, now has my Franklin-Christophs, my Hines pen, my Hogtown pens, and my Jinhaos. So my first Franklin-Christoph was actually this one. This was a collaboration with Goulet Pens and Stormwind Blanks, and this is called Ascension Wing. This is in the Model 31, and I got this with a fine nib. I purchased this basically on the same day that I got my job offer with the company that I currently work with. And this for me like signified just a new era in my life, where I had been with my previous company for almost 9 years, and now I had been looking for something different, and this pen signifies that. This is something different to the rest of my collection. I love the black and white in here, and then the holographic swirls. So lovely. And the Model 31, I had to first get used to the way the threads were, but I found that it's so comfortable now, and I do love Franklin-Christoph. My second Franklin-Christoph purchase, I'll actually put them in order of purchase. The second Franklin-Christoph purchase is this Model 2 in the Van Ness exclusive. So I bought this secondhand as well, and it came with a medium nib, and then I got this ground into a Kadachi grind by Matthew Chen at the Chicago Pen Show, and I can't do a writing sample with it now because it is not inked, but it's one that I was on the hunt for because I love this green glassy look here. And this is actually a really comfortable pen. I have to actually use this pen posted to have it comfortable. It's comfortable like this as well, but it's one of the very few pens that I can write with posted. It's very comfortable. The threads aren't actually back here between the grip section and the body. The threads are down here closer to the nib. So where I grip my pen, it's very, very comfortable. Not something that I've seen too many times in other pens before, to have the threads so close to the nib. If you're a nib hugger, probably not for you, but with how I grip my pens, this is really, really comfortable. So that is the Van Ness exclusive Model 2. And then for the longest time, I had to choose between the Model 2 and the Antique Glass because I said, I don't need both. How wrong I was. So this Antique Glass was just on my mind for so long, and I thought, you know what, I will wait until I can see this in person and see if I really wanted it. So I waited to get this at the Chicago Pen Show. I basically raced to the Franklin-Christoph table. This is the Antique Glass in the Model 31, and I got this with an extra fine SIG nib. So it's an extra fine, almost like a cursive smooth italic. Again, very comfortable pen, very beautiful. I love the antique glass look of this pen. And they're just very, very well made. So those are my Franklin-Christophs. I don't think I'm gonna get any more because I'm actually pretty happy with the collection as it stands. Whew, okay, the next set of pens that I have in here are from Hines Pen Company. First time I ever met them was at the San Francisco Pen Show. I met Jim and Francisco and Jenny. And since then, I feel like every time I go to a pen show, they're like family. I'm always at their table. So these are actually some pretty special pens in my life here. So which order should I put these in? Kind of like that. Yes, okay, that is the order. So this pen I got from Jim at the Pacific Northwest Pen Show 2024. Yeah, last year's Pacific Northwest Pen Show. This was the Champagne at Midnight in the Model K, and it's got the Heinz Pen Co. logo here. But it was a pen that I had kept staring at and kept picking up, and it looks so different from everything else. Now this comes with a Yovo number 6 steel nib, and it's in an extra fine that Jim tuned for me as well. And what I love about this pen is that from far away, it kind of looks boring, but then up close, it's got so many details in here. You've got the shimmers that look almost copper, and then there's so much chatoyance in the resin as well. Really, really lovely. And I find this model so, so comfortable. So that is the Model K. And then this one is the Texas Orchid. I had this done, let's see, I think I contacted Jim before the Chicago Pen Show, and I said, I really like the Texas Orchid that Atlas has, but I don't want the clip. Can you do that in a Model K for me? So they did this in a Model K. I love the green and the yellow and the pink in here. And then I chose a magenta extra fine nib. So fun, so stunning. I absolutely love that. And I do say that a lot about my pens, but they wouldn't be in my collection if I didn't love them. And then lastly, this is the Heimdall. So the first time I saw this pen was actually at the Pacific Northwest Pen Show this year. And I really loved the brown shimmers and the silver shimmers throughout. But it was in a much bigger model than what was normally comfortable for me. So I said to Jim, can you please make this in a Model K for me? Now, Jim couldn't actually be at the San Francisco Pen Show, but he turned this pen for me personally, and then we chose that brown extra fine nib to go on there. So these are all Yovo number 6 steel nibs, but I love that Heinz Pen offer the colored nibs as well. So beautiful, and it just adds that extra touch to these pens. So all of these Heinz Penco pens are Model K, and they are the most comfortable for me. Just love that. Gorgeous. So that is my Heinz Pen Company. Okay, the next one, this is from Hogtown Pens, and this is a Canadian maker from Ontario. And Terry is one of the nicest people ever. Actually, all of the makers that I will mention here are some of the nicest people ever. But I saw this on Terry's Instagram one day, and it just took my breath away. I had seen this resin acrylic before. It's the Impressionist one acrylic, and I love how there's so much detail in here, but I love that the swirls are all so differentiated, that they don't just blur together as one blob. They're so delineated in here, and I love that. Like there's, you know, the pink and the blue and the white in here, and then you've got the blue and the green and the pink. It's just such a unique and interesting pen. And I believe this is in the Swansea large model, which is a very comfortable model for me. Again, another Jowo number 6 extra fine nib here, but a very comfortable model. But also Terry, he does just an amazing job of glossing the pen to just an immaculate shine. Again, threads very, very smooth, very comfortable to hold. It just feels nice and cool in the hands, this pen. I don't know what it is, but there's something about the material that makes it just feel so comfortable and cool. I don't know what it is, but that is my Hogtown Pens Swansea Large in the Impressionist. All right. Oh, okay. And then the next one in this tray are my Jinhaos. So this is the Jinhao 10 in the coffee gradient or the caramel gradient, and this has an extra fine nib. And then I tried the Jinhao 20s, which are more akin to a Pilot Vanishing Point Decimo, and I got it in the pink with rose gold and then the white with rose gold. But look how each of those shimmers. Really pretty. And for the price of these are actually really great writers. One complaint about the Jinhao 10 and 20s is the fact that the sealing mechanism doesn't actually seal very, very well, but with a little bit of, what is it, silicone grease around the edge of that door there, that can help with a lot of the sealing problems that you get, which causes evaporation and the pen probably not starting as well as it should. But with these three, I've been able to use that silicone grease trick and have them work really, really well. Ooh, okay, so that is the second tray. Okay, so this third tray has pens from Just Turnings, Le Bon, and Leonardo. So the first brand here, Just Turnings, this is from Stephen in Australia. And this first one here is in the Carolina Pen Company Primary Manipulation. No, sorry, Pastel Primary Manipulation. Pastel Primary Manipulation is no longer being made, but now Jonathan has come up with a new iteration of it in the Primary Manipulation Light, but this is the Pastel Primary Manipulation. I remember the day that I purchased this, I had woken up early and decided to scroll on my phone, which is not a great thing to do. When I was scrolling on my phone and I saw that Stephen had just posted this, and I immediately messaged him and said, I need this pen. I love the swirls on this pen, like the evenness of the different colors, the even distribution of them, but also so many of the pastel primary manipulations look a lot darker than this. I really like how light this one looks. I really love that. But look at just the colors and how some areas look more transparent than others. I just love this one so, so much. Gosh, that was a spontaneous purchase that I do not regret making. And this is in the Enceladus model. Yes, Enceladus model. And this has, I believe, an extra fine, yes, an extra fine architect nib. Now, some people are like, why are you getting nibs ground from an extra fine? I have really tiny writing, so the different widths of these strokes make a huge difference in my tiny, tiny writing. Then the next one is actually I guess a custom blank that I had Tim of Turn Pen Co. do, and this is called the Swirly Joyful Kismet. I basically sent Tim just colors that I wanted in a pen, and I said just make it as shimmery as possible, and then I sent the blanks off to Stephen, and he created this for me. Now it did come initially with two other finials here, like a white finial, but I actually really like it all as the one piece like this with some of the gold clip and the gold detailing. And then this one comes with is it a fine architect? Yeah, a fine architect nib. I have to keep track of my nibs better. But again, I love, this is such a fall pen. You've got the pinks and greens and yellow golds in here with the white. Really, really pretty. So that is my Swirly Joyful Kismet And then this one here is another collaboration actually with Steven that's coming out in March. I'm not going to talk about it now, but watch out for that coming in March. So then we have my two Le Bons here. I used to have more Le Bons actually. My first ever Le Bon was a Le Bon Rosa in the, what was that model called? I don't remember the name now. But anyway, I loved it. It was beautiful. And it was actually the first pen that I purchased based solely on looks. And I loved it, absolutely loved it. But then I kind of grew out of that taste and ended up selling that pen. But this one in the cracked ice, I just could not get my mind off it. I've been thinking about this pen for months. And then I finally purchased it from PenChalet, but then they had it on back order, so it took months to get to me. But I love the cracked ice because from far away, it just looks like it's black and white. Then up close, you see all of the different colors that are reflected in the cracked ice there. So I like to ink this with like blues or purples or pinks because that's what you get when you move this pen. Now this comes actually with a Bach extra fine nib, and this writes really well. I don't have many Bach nibs in my collection, but this one writes really, really well. And then I have my Le Bon 325. This is actually the second one that I had. The first one was the 325 in the Cambridge, and this one is the 325 in Snow. This has an extra fine number 6 Yovo steel nib. The first one, the 325 in Cambridge, had a broad nib that I got ground down to a medium stub, and I ended up giving that to my husband because the size of the pen actually works for him, but the medium stub is much better for his writing than mine. I love this pen. I love how classic it looks. It's such a great weighted pen in my hand, but that nib also writes really, really well, and I feel like I could pair almost any ink with this. So those are my two Le Bons. You could tell I'm trying to go through this quickly. Like I have a big jug of water here just so that I can make sure that I'm staying hydrated throughout all this. And then the last in this tray are my Leonardos, and I'm actually surprised that I have as many as I do. So the oldest Leonardo that I have in my collection, and really actually the oldest pen that is in my collection, and when I say collection, I mean pens that I am writing with regularly or part of my rotation, because the oldest pen that I have is actually not here in this tray. The oldest pen that I have is my Cross Botanica in, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna remember the name, but it was the Cross Botanica that my dad got me quite a few years ago. First fountain pen ever, but it's not here because it's not one that I keep in rotation. But anyway, among all of the pens that I currently own, the Leonardo Momento Zero Grande 2.0 in the Angel Skin is currently the oldest in my collection. This comes with a 14K rose gold fine nib, and this is a piston fill. And when I first got it, I was really unsure of the size, but I just couldn't bear to sell it in all that time. And I'm so glad that I didn't, because now I really find this model quite comfortable, to the point where my latest iteration of Winter Sunrise is also in a Momento Zero Grande 2.0 model. This is currently inked with Diamine Bah Humbug, but this one has an extra fine number 6 steel nib, writes beautifully, and I just love the fact that I now have two Leonardos in this Winter Sunrise. If you're not familiar with this, this is a collaboration that I did with Hatch and Endless Pens and Leonardo and Stormwind Blanks. And Stormwind Blanks basically took my vision of a Winter Sunrise and created the blank that went into these two pens. So the first one was released in January of 2024, and it's the Momento Zero model. And this one only came out with 55 pieces. And this one has an extra fine number 6 steel nib. This one is with a cartridge converter. And then this one, the Memento Zero Grande 2.0, like I said again, piston fill, number 6 steel nib, but this one is not a limited edition like the Memento Zero. If there is a demand for these, and then I can work with Hatch and Leonardo to produce more. And then the other two Memento Zeros that I have were limited editions from Stilo a Stile. I remember when they were teasing these and announcing these, I was saying to my friend Katie, I'm like, that is my Bam Grail Leonardo. And I was talking about this one. This is the Via Latea, and it's in a matte finish, Memento Zero, with a number 6 steel extra fine nib. This one is also a cartridge converter, but oh, I love love this resin. It's the Strata Quartz resin, but I love it in the matte finish. It's just such a stunning pen, and I actually really like it with the silver trim. I don't know if I could imagine it with any other trim color other than that. And then we have Andromeda. Oh, gorgeous, gorgeous. The kind of burgundy purple, the darker purple tones of this with the silver trim. Absolutely stunning. I was going to get this one in a fine, but then that sold out really quickly, so I got both in extra fine, and I don't regret that at all. I remember the emotional roller coaster that I went through trying to purchase these two, because we basically broke the site for Stilo is Stile when these both came out. They were so popular, and those sold out really quickly. So those are basically, the thing is, what I currently have in my Leonardo collection, I don't think I'll sell, because I'm pretty happy with these. And then lastly, the Leonardo Furore in Aqua Petra. I purchased this off Reddit, actually, a couple of years ago, and it came with a fine nib that was tuned and smoothed by Annabelle of Applebaum. So lovely rider, probably even a slightly broader or wetter rider than my 14K fine on that one. And this one is also a, oh, almost used up all that ink, has a converter in there as well. But I love the colors of the Aqua Petra. You've got the blue and the purple and the teal and the green and the pink. It's just stunning, stunning. Oh, I do love my Leonardos. I haven't tried a Magico yet, but I'm really at that stage in my collection where I'm pretty happy with what I have in terms of the different brands and what I have of each brand. So I don't see myself expanding these too much more, because I feel like if I'm gonna buy any more, I'm at that number of my collection that I'm pretty comfortable with. So if I need to buy, if I want to buy more, it's kind of gonna be that one in, one out situation. All right. Next tray. The next tray houses a mix of pens here. So we have my two Mayfair pens. The first is, let's pull this out here. This is in the Noldor model in Valinor. So the Noldor model, I'm going to show here, actually comes in three separate pieces. So I've got the cap, the grip, and the body. And the body actually has the reverse threads in here. And then it comes with, I put the Pacific Northwest Pen Show 2024 nib in here, but you can put any Yovo number 6 steel nib in here. And this is also a converter. Now, I remember when Ben did his drop for this, because Mayfair Pens, they do a monthly drop of pens, but they also do visit a few pen shows as well. And I remember I was looking through the drop and thinking, okay, what am I gonna get? What am I gonna get? And then 15 minutes after the drop actually went live, then Ben posts this one, and I'm like, oh, okay, so that's the one. And within 10 minutes, I basically decided this was the one I was gonna purchase. And similar to the Impressionist that I have on my Hogtown pen Swansea, I love the different swirls on this that don't look like they've all blended together. And there seems to be a theme with that with my Mayfair pens. I like the acrylics or the resins that you can really see the different colors, that they don't blend in. And then you can ink this with the green or the pink and the purple, and they would all match really well. And this is also in a matte finish. And then this was one that I had asked Ben about. I said, I think it would be really cool if you did the Tiffany resin. So like I think this one is by Turnt Pen Co., but correct me if I'm wrong. But again, I really like the way that the different colors don't blend together, that you could really see them outlined and differentiated in there. But I said to Ben, can you try it with a sparkly or a shimmery resin to go with it? And I'm so glad that I did. And this is in the Vanyar model. So you notice that the Vanyar model, the middle section is actually larger. The cap is the same, but it's the middle section that's longer. And then this back section here is a little bit shorter. Again, another cartridge converter with a Yovo number 6 extra fine nib. Gorgeous. I've purchased a few pens from Mayfair Pens, and I decided like these are the two that I do want to keep. I really like the theme of the two resins that don't look like anything else that I've got other than that Impressionist, but I really like how the resins look so different that you could still see the colors not blending together. Love that. So those are my two Mayfair pens. Then my one Narwhal, or one Novelore. This is in the the Voyage Tromso, and this has a steel fine nib. I purchased this from PenChalet back in 2023, I believe it was. Yeah, actually, yeah, PenChalet back in 2023. And this actually gave me some problems. No, wait, this wasn't PenChalet, this was Atlas. Oh, I cannot remember now. I believe it was Atlas. But this did give me some problems, especially the piston. I'll leave a link to the video that I was having problems with. This was basically the piston. I had turned it and it actually came out and I had no idea how to get it back in. I was able to contact, I think it was Narwhal, who sent me a wrench to be able to get it back in, but also easy video instructions for how to get it back. And thankfully I was able to get this fixed, but it kind of put me off Narwhals for the rest of my fountain pen hobby. I mean, I'm going to keep this one because I just love the abalone finish here. Now the blank is from Jonathan Brooks and it's the abalone, and I really, really love it. I love the purples and the blues and just the chatoyance that you see in here, but I also love the rose gold trim in this. I won't ever purchase any more Narwhals, but I'm not going to sell this one either because it does write well, and I fixed it and I know how to fix it should that piston issue ever happen again. But this one, you're not going to see this in production again. So for a lot of the pens that I have that are limited editions, I probably will not be selling them because I bought them for a reason, but also if I sold them and wanted to buy them again, it wouldn't be possible for me to do so. Okay, so the next brand I have is Pelikan. There is a pen missing from here. If you will follow me on Instagram and you were watching my stories from a few weeks ago, I broke my M1000. It's gonna make me cry talking about it, but I was journaling while I was actually at the therapist's office, and the pen fell off my lap onto the floor while it was still capped, and the body broke off from the grip, and the grip section is actually still stuck in the cap. So I've sent this off to Coles of London to see if they can send it off to Pelikan for repair. We'll see what happens. I'll keep you posted on that. But the only M1000 that I own was in that Renaissance brown, and I love it. It's got such a beautiful body, and I'll include a link to that video. Gorgeous, gorgeous pen, but currently not here because it's hopefully off for repair. But then the first M800, this model is the M800, and I first tried the M800 size at the first San Francisco pen show that I went to, so 2023. And before that, I had tried the M400 and the M600, and I just found that those sizes were just a bit too small. But with the M800, because of the metal like parts in the body, makes it a heavier pen. You've got a slightly larger nib. This is an extra fine as well. Very comfortable pen. If you know anything about Pelikans, you know that their nibs also write wetter than most other pens, like a Yovo, for example, but they're so beautifully, beautifully smooth. So this is the M800 in the green black. And then I found this beautiful pen on eBay, and actually I didn't find it. It was Lori of Time with Tata who I guess found this for me and sent me the link to the seller on eBay. And this has a fine nib, which I actually had ground down to an extra fine cursive smooth italic, and it's so lovely. And I love the brown, and gorgeous, gorgeous. I love the brown striations here, but also if you notice, compared to the green black, the cap itself is also brown, and the finial or the piston is brown as well. Gorgeous. Love my Pelikans, but I do not also need to purchase anymore because those are the two, plus my Renaissance brown, that I really love. All right, moving on to Pilot. Oh, so pretty. So the first Pilot that I have here is my Pilot Vanishing Point, and this is in the Carbonesque Black. And this is not the first Vanishing Point that I've had. I had one in the gray Rhodium, but I just thought that was a little boring. So I ended up purchasing this, and this actually has an extra fine nib. Now, the extra fine nib I purchased from PenChalet. This originally came with a fine nib, so I purchased an extra fine nib from PenChalet and had it tuned and smoothed by Kirk-Spear, because sometimes the extra fine nibs from Pilot, while all of their other nibs are stunning and so smooth, the extra fine nib comes off a little scratchy, so I had that tuned and smooth for me, and now it is my everyday planner pen, and I love it. And then we have my Pilot Kakunos. One of them, actually this one, I just received yesterday for Christmas from my husband, and I love it. So this is the light blue, but this is the Mataromi series, and I'm very glad that my collection is complete. I love the Pilot Kakuno. They are a great lower cost pen. They've got a fantastic steel nib, and I mean, how cute is that happy face there? The Pilot steel nib is one of my favorite steel nibs. It just writes beautifully, and I have no complaints about that nib. But also, I love the colors of this Mataromi series. You got the white, the light blue, the blue. They say brown, but this looks more grayish purple. And then the pink. I love them. And now that I have this many Kakunos, I'm going to make sure that every month I have a Pilot Kakuno inked up, because I just love writing with them so much. But actually, the white one here has an extra fine nib, but the extra fine nib I got from a clear Pilot Kakuno that I purchased off Amazon. So it's great actually that you can switch these nibs around if you don't want just all fines or all mediums. You can switch the nib with a Pilot Metropolitan or a Pilot Prera. You can make those a little bit more, you know, different if you want, but I'm a big fan of the extra fine or the fine Pilot steel nibs. Oh, okay, so that is my 4th tray. Thank you for sticking with me. There's 2 more, I promise. We're getting through. This next tray has my Platinum, Radius, Sailor, and TWSBI pens here. So these first 2 are from Platinum. This first one, this was my actually 2nd Platinum. The first time I tried my Platinum 3776 was a few years ago, and I didn't appreciate the fine nib back then, but now I feel like I'm getting into my really fine needlepoint, extra fine era, I guess that I could call this. So this is the Platinum and Hachimonjiya Hatsuyuki, and this comes with a 14 karat fine nib. Ooh, a little dusty. And look at how pretty that nib is. Now this pen is not readily available in North America. I purchased this from a third-party reseller on Instagram, Good Pen Life, and I am in love with this pen. I love the sparkles and just that beautiful clip. It's just so simple but so beautiful. And then the fine nib that is on here is so crisp yet still so smooth. I love it. Absolutely love it. Feels different than a Pilot nib, but I still absolutely love it. Gorgeous. And then I bought the second one here. This is Platinum with Kobayashi. This is the Suruga Bay. This also comes with a 14 karat fine nib. I also got this from Good Pen Life on Instagram, and let's just check out that beautiful engraving on the nib. They both come with their converters, and this is actually inked ready to be used in January. But one thing that I forgot to mention that I love about Platinum is the mechanism that they have in the cap to really keep their pens sealed, and I love that. Now let's just look at the beautiful shimmer that's in this body. Stunning. I do have another Platinum on my wish list here. It's the Ayame. I think it's another Hachimonjiya collaboration, and that one's in the lighter purple. It's not currently available right now, but supposedly they're re-releasing it in spring. I'd like to get that one in maybe a medium nib so that I can have a variation among my Platinums, and then I think my Platinum collection will be finished. Then we have my only Radius. This is in the Settimo in the Marmo Bianco. I purchased this from Stilo e Stile on my birthday in 2024, and I really like just how neutral this looks and just how it looks like coffee. I really like the brown and the beige, but also the off-white that's in here with the gold trim. And this comes with a number 6 fine steel nib. writes beautifully. Now, Radius have, I think, been purchased by Leonardo, so you'll also see a lot of Radiuses with Leonardo releases. But what I love about this pen is that it's really comfortable. Look at there's barely any step between the grip and the body, and it's just such a comfortable pen. Also really beautiful. Love the Radius Settimo Marmo Bianco. Then we have my Sailors, and if you had asked me this time last year if I would have Platinums or Sailors in my collection, because this time last year I did not have these two brands in my collection. I had told myself that I was not going to purchase any Platinums or Sailors anymore because I didn't like how they wrote, but I proved myself wrong. So the first Sailor is this Wancher Frozen Sake that I purchased at the Pacific Northwest Pen Show from Pen Realm, and Kirk tuned and smoothed this for me. Now, I know people are like, why are you buying a Sailor if you don't like the Sailor feedback? This one really is purely for looks. I really love the way that it looks. I love the way that the body has that shimmer. But I really do like that it has the 18 karat fine nib on here, and it's beautifully engraved. The feedback is okay for me, but if I have the opportunity to be able to get this tuned and smooth to exactly the way that I like it, I'm not going to pass that up. So Kirk tuned and smoothed this for me, and I love it. Love it. It is currently inked with Kitty Inkpot Jellyfish Travel, Moon Jellyfish Travel Journal. I'm never going to remember that name, but I love it. And this was something that was so not even out of my comfort zone, but something that I don't normally purchase at a pen show. And I remember this was the only pen that I purchased at the Pacific Northwest Pen Show, and I had been looking at it and it kept calling to me. And then when I finally made the purchase, I was like, yes, I don't regret that one. I don't regret that at all. And this one was purchased at the San Francisco Pen Show this summer. And I purchased this about 5 minutes before my nib appointment with Kirk Spear. I purchased it because I knew that he could tune this the way that I like it. But, oh, there's a little ink on there. Look at the beautiful flower on that fine nib. And it's just such a pretty pen. This was being sold by Hachimonjiya at the San Francisco Pen Show, and I'm so glad that I was able to snag that as well. And then, yes, I have a space here because I did purchase another one. Yes, another Hachimonjiya Pro Gear that is hopefully coming before the end of the year, but I will show that in my collection in January. Then we have here my TWSBI Ecos. Again, before 2024, I would have been like, no, I'm not going to have any more TWSBIs in my collection. They just don't work for me. And then they came out with the Cream Rose Gold and the Cafe Bronze, so these two. And I thought, I need to get them because they match Lucy. Maybe I'll give them another try and we'll see how they feel. And I really love them both. The Cream Rose Gold has a fine rose gold nib. You can see there's actually still shimmer in there. So whatever ink I ink that up with next is going to have extra shimmer in there. And then we have the, which one is this again? Cafe Bronze. And it looks like there's still water and ink in there, but I'll try and get that out. And this one has an extra fine nib. I purchased this one from Wonder Pens, and I purchased this one from Cult Pens. And then when this came out, I purchased this from Wonder Pens. This is the Espresso Bronze in an extra fine. And these three were all part of their breakfast series. I didn't purchase the matcha because I didn't need the green, but I'm pretty happy with how that trio looks, and I will definitely not need any more TWSBI Ecos after that. I'm pretty happy with what I have, but I'm also not the type of person that I'm like, I need to collect more of these. These will do for me. These will do. So actually, I feel like other than the Radius, this tray is about those pens that I thought I would never ever purchase again, and then I did, and now my mind has changed and my collection has changed because I decided to give them another try. So moving on to the last pen tray. And here we have the last pen tray with my Walltown pens, my Waterman, and my Zodiac Pen Co. So here we have the Walltown pens in the Onslow. No, sorry, this is the Watts model in Glinda. This was not anything that I thought I would ever like. The pink and all of that shimmer. But when I saw it, I thought, oh my gosh, this is the pen that's going to make me try Walltown pens. And I've now got ink on my finger. It's such a comfortable pen and so fun to write with. These take Yovo No. 6 steel nibs, and you have the option on their site whether you want to purchase a nib from Walltown or if you just want to buy them nibless. I have so many extra Yovo nibs, so I decided not to buy these with nibs, and I currently have a fine nib in here. But it's such a fun pen to look at, but also it's really comfortable in size. I mean, this doesn't post, unfortunately, for those who do like to post their pens, but I think it's stunning. Love it, love it, love it. Then we have my other Strata quartz. This is in the Onslow model. So this is the Strata quartz with the rose quartz finials. Oh, I just love that. Love it. And then I currently have the San Francisco 2023 pen show nib in here. Really just a great looking pen. And I really love the Strata quartz resin, as you can see in my Leonardo Memento Zero Violetea. I did have another one from Silver Pearl Pens, but I decided to sell that because, again, I'm trying to get to that point in my collection where I don't need doubles of everything, except this. I have this in the glossy finish by Walltown Pens, and then I have the matte finish from Leonardo, and then that's it. I do not need any more Strata quartz. I am good. Then we have my two Waterman Carens. I purchased the Waterman Caren Amber from Atlas in January of 2024. I just wanted to give it a try. I was really curious about it. It's such a classic looking pen. And then when I tried it, I was like, why is this pen so comfortable and such an, I guess, an underdog in terms of all of the other pens that are out with new releases like every month. But this is a really comfortable model. I really love that inlaid nib, and it has an 18 karat. This started with a fine nib, but I had this ground down to an extra fine by Kirk Spear for me, and I just love it. It just is such a comfortable pen, such a great writer. I mean, the gold nib is not going to be a soft, bouncy gold nib like a Pilot, for example, but it is still a really lovely writer. And then I discovered that Waterman have this sea green shimmer, but I think it was a limited edition because it's not found anywhere, and I ended up finding this on eBay for an amazing price. It came with a roller ball as well, but I found this on eBay about a month before the San Francisco Pen Show, because I said to myself, I don't need to buy it because I'm going to go to the San Francisco Pen Show and find it there. And then I had a friend of mine basically say, if this is a really great deal, you know, do you want to risk not finding it at the San Francisco Pen Show? So I ended up purchasing it. It has a fine nib, and oh, I love it. It's so pretty. I think it's just stunning. And then it also comes with a roller ball, which I haven't used, but I think it's great that it comes with both. So those are my two Waterman Carens. I just noticed it's very Christmassy. And then lastly, in all of my brands, we have Zodiac Pen Co. My first, I guess, 2 or 3 Zodiac pens I purchased in 2023. And then I officially met Bart at the Pacific Northwest Pen Show in July of 2024. And then that's when he presented me with the 3 Olives Martini in the Cancer model. He held this blank for me for months and months until I basically decided the Cancer model was what I wanted it in. And he did an amazing job with this pen, or what do we call it? The OG 3 Olives Martini, and it's in a matte finish. Just stunning. And then I'm doing this in order of the way I got these. Then we have the collaboration that Bart and I did this year. This is in the Sea Glass Kaleidoscope. Bart actually still has, I think, maybe 8 more of these available to be done. So go ahead and check out Bart's website or Zodiac Pen Co. This is in the Sagittarius model, and I chose this model because I like how it looks like a gemstone. And then it also comes with the engraved nib. I got an extra fine nib on this as well. Lovely. Just such a stunning cracked ice
pattern, and you could almost pair this with anything. So you have, you know, the green or the orange or the purple. And I know some other versions of this, or other people have purchased this, have more purple or more orange. It's really interesting the different versions there are of this pen out there. And then we have, this is the Capricorn model in Bourbon and Smoke. It looks so simple from far away, but then when you bring it up close, there's just something about it that I really like. It's not a crazy swirl or anything. It's a lot more neutral, but I just feel like it looks like one of those pens that's just so consistent, and it's one that you can rely on. I don't know what I'm trying to say with that, but it's such a great looking, strong pen. This one has an extra fine nib on here, and this one, again, like I said, is the Capricorn model, so it's got the flat ends. And then lastly, I commissioned Bart to create the Sagittarius model with Carolina Pen Company's PM5. And let's just take a moment to revel in all of that shimmery goodness. Gorgeous, gorgeous. And I have this actually with the 2024 San Francisco Pen Show nib. Lovely. Oh, gorgeous. Again, you'll see in my pen trays that I haven't filled them all to the brim. I do leave spaces in between, and I don't plan on filling those spaces. I'm pretty happy with the number that I've got currently. So then, taking a quick look, I'm not going to take out every single tray because that would just knock everything over, but I'm just taking out a few trays here just basically to show how far has my collection come since, when did I do my first collection video? 2021, so almost 4 years ago, and how far my collection has come since then, and the journey that I've taken to get here. I'm grateful for all of the pens that I've been able to try, which have taught me what my preferences are and what my tastes are, but also knowing that when I do this fountain pen collection video every year, it's going to look different every year because my tastes change, and I'm absolutely okay with that. Okay, that is it for me. Thank you for sticking with me through all of that chatty video. I feel like December is a time for very chatty videos with me, but if you have any questions, please let me know down in the comments below. And again, be kind. That's all I'm trying to say. All right, thank you again so much for watching, and have yourselves a great day.